The rain hammered against the windshield of Tom's pickup truck, blurring the neon glow of the diner's sign into a smear of red and blue. It was 2 a.m., and the Long Island Expressway was a ghost town, save for the occasional semi-truck roaring past. Tom's hands gripped the steering wheel, knuckles white, his jaw clenched so tight it ached. He wasn't supposed to be here. He was supposed to be in bed, asleep next to his wife, Lisa, in their split-level home in Levittown. But the text he'd seen on her phone an accident. A glance while she was in the shower had burned itself into his brain. Can't wait to see you tonight. Same place, no name, no context, just those words, glowing like a warning flare. He'd driven to the diner, the only same place he could think of, because it was where they'd had their first date 10 years ago. His gut churned as he scanned the parking lot, searching for her car. Tom and Lisa had built a life together in the heart of Long Island's suburban sprawl. He was a lineman for Con Edison, working long shifts repairing power lines across Nassau County, often gone before dawn and back after dusk. Lisa was a part-time paralegal at a law firm in Garden City, her days split between depositions and shuttling their 2 kids, Emma and Noah, to soccer practice and piano lessons. From the outside, they were the picture of middle-class stability, a 3-bedroom house with a manicured lawn, a Labrador named Max, and a fridge stocked with Trader Joe's groceries. But beneath the surface, cracks had been forming for years' missed anniversaries, arguments over bills, silence that stretched longer than their conversations. Lisa had always been the spark in their marriage, the one who planned weekend trips to the Hamptons or impromptu barbecues with neighbors. Tom, quieter, steadier, was content to follow her lead. But lately, her spark had dimmed. She'd stopped asking about his day, stopped leaving notes in his lunchbox. He'd chalked it up to stress her job, the kids, the endless grind of keeping up with the Joneses in a town where everyone seemed to have a bigger SUV or a fancier kitchen remodel. But that text, those 9 words, had ripped the veil off his denial. In the diner's parking lot, Tom spotted her silver Honda CR-V parked crookedly near the entrance. His heart thudded against his ribs. He killed the engine and sat there, rain drumming on the roof, debating whether to go inside. What would he say? What would he do if he saw her with someone else? The thought made his stomach lurch, but he couldn't turn back now. He stepped out into the rain, his work boots splashing in puddles, and pushed through the diner's glass door. The diner smelled of coffee and fried onions, the same as it had a decade ago, when Lisa had laughed over a shared milkshake and stolen fries from his plate. The memory stung. He scanned the booths, his eyes landing on her instantly. Lisa sat in a corner booth, her auburn hair loose over her shoulders, her face lit by the soft glow of a jukebox. Across from her was a man mid-30s, clean-shaven, wearing a tailored blazer that screamed money. He was leaning in, his hand brushing hers on the table, and Lisa was smiling in a way Tom hadn't seen in years. Not the tired smile she gave him at the end of a long day, but something alive, unguarded, intimate. Tom's world tilted. He stood frozen by the hostess stand, water dripping from his jacket onto the linoleum floor. The waitress, a woman with a name tag reading Darlene, asked if he needed a table. He shook his head, unable to speak, and stumbled back outside. The rain felt colder now, biting through his clothes. He leaned against his truck, his breath ragged, trying to process what he'd seen. His wife, Lisa, was cheating on him. The truth was a knife, twisting deeper with every heartbeat. Back at home, Tom sat in the dark living room, the TV off, the house silent except for the hum of the fridge. He couldn't bring himself to go upstairs, to lie in the bed they shared. Instead, he pulled out his phone and scrolled through their text history, searching for clues he'd missed. There were no other suspicious messages, just the usual. Pick up milk. Emma needs new cleats. Love you. The normalcy of it made him feel sick. He thought about confronting her when she got home, but the thought of her lying to his face or worse, admitting it was unbearable. Lisa slipped in at 3:15 a.m., her keys jangling softly as she locked the door. Tom watched from the shadows as she tiptoed through the foyer, her heels in one hand, her purse slung over her shoulder. She didn't notice him until she reached the stairs. Tom, her voice was a whisper, startled. What are you doing up? He stood, his silhouette looming in the dim light. Where were you, Lisa? Her face paled, but she recovered quickly, brushing her hair behind her ear. At the office. Last-minute deposition prep. I told you, you didn't tell me shit, he said, his voice low, trembling with rage. I saw you. At the diner. With him. Lisa's eyes widened, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. Tom, it's not, don't, he cut her off, stepping closer. Don't lie to me. I saw you. Who is he? She set her purse down, her hands shaking. His name's Mark. He's a lawyer at the firm. It's not what you think. Then what is it? Tom's voice cracked, betraying the hurt beneath his anger. Because it looked like you were pretty fucking cozy with him. Lisa's shoulders slumped, and she sank onto the couch, her face in her hands. I didn't mean for it to happen, she said, her voice muffled. It just did. Tom felt like he'd been punched. How long? A few months, she whispered. Since the Christmas party. Tom had been on a 12-hour shift, repairing lines after a winter storm. He'd missed the party, missed the moment his wife had started slipping away. Why? He asked, his voice barely audible. Lisa looked up, tears streaking her mascara. I was lonely, Tom. You're always working, always gone. I know it's not an excuse, but I felt invisible. Mark saw me. He listened. Tom wanted to scream, to break something, but all he could do was stand there, the weight of her words crushing him. I work my ass off for you, he said. For the kids, for this house, and you throw it away for some slick lawyer. It's not like that, Lisa said, her voice rising. I didn't want to hurt you. I love you, Tom, I do. I don't know who I am anymore. I'm not just a mom or a wife. I needed something for me. Tom turned away, his hands clenched into fists. He wanted to believe her, to believe there was a way back from this, but the image of her smiling at Mark burned in his mind. Do the kids know? He asked. No, she said quickly. I'd never let them. Good, he interrupted. Because I don't know how to tell them their mom's been lying to us all. The next few days were a blur of silence and avoidance. Tom slept on the couch. Lisa in their bedroom. They moved around each other like strangers, speaking only when necessary about the kids' schedules or bills. Emma, their 12-year-old, noticed the tension, asking, Are you and Mom fighting? Tom forced a smile and said, Just grown-up stuff, kiddo. But inside, he was unraveling. He started digging, unable to stop himself. He checked Lisa's phone when she was asleep, found deleted texts recovered through an app he'd downloaded. Mark's messages were casual, flirty, full of promises. Meet me at the Marriott in Hempstead. You deserve better, Lisa. Tom's anger grew, but so did his shame. Had he failed her? Had he been so focused on providing that he'd forgotten how to love her? One night, after the kids were asleep, Tom confronted Lisa again. I want you to stop seeing him, he said, standing in the kitchen, the fluorescent light casting harsh shadows. We can fix this. Counseling, whatever it takes. But you have to end it. Lisa stared at the floor, her arms crossed. I don't know if I can, she said softly. I don't know what I want. Her words were a death knell. Tom felt something break inside him, a finality he hadn't expected. Then you need to leave, he said, his voice steady despite the ache in his chest. I can't live like this, wondering if you're with him every time you walk out the door. Lisa nodded, tears spilling down her cheeks. I'll go to my sister's for a while. We'll figure out how to tell the kids. The next morning, Lisa packed a suitcase and left for her sister's apartment in Queens. Tom watched from the window as her car pulled out of the driveway, the kids at school, unaware their world was about to change. He sat at the kitchen table, staring at a photo of them from last summer, a family trip to Jones Beach, all four of them smiling in the sand. He wondered if they'd ever be that happy again. Over the next weeks, Tom threw himself into work, taking extra shifts to avoid the empty house. He told the kids their mom was helping their aunt with a project, a lie that bought him time but felt like betrayal. Lisa called daily to talk to Emma and Noah, her voice bright and forced. But she and Tom barely spoke. He started seeing a therapist through his union's EAP program, a gruff older man who listened as Tom poured out his anger, his grief, his guilt. Do you want her back? The therapist asked one session. Tom hesitated. "I don't know," he admitted. "I love her, but I don't trust her, and I don't know if I can forgive her." The therapist nodded. "Trust is like a broken bone. It can heal, but it takes time, and it's never quite the same." Tom filed for separation, not divorce, hoping time apart might clarify things. Lisa agreed, moving into a small apartment in Mineola. They worked out a custody schedule, splitting time with the kids. Emma, perceptive beyond her years, asked Tom one night, "Is Mom coming back?" He didn't have an answer. Months passed, and the pain dulled but never vanished. Tom kept the house running, mowing the lawn, cooking dinners, helping Noah with his math homework. He saw Lisa at school events, their interactions polite but strained. Mark was out of the picture. Lisa had ended it. She told him in a tearful phone call, but the damage was done. Tom wasn't sure if they could rebuild, but he wasn't ready to let go either. One evening, as he sat on the porch with a beer, watching the fireflies flicker in the yard, Tom thought about the diner, about that rainy night that had changed everything. He didn't regret confronting her, but he wished he'd seen the signs sooner, wished he'd fought harder for her when she'd still been his. The future was uncertain, but for now, he had his kids, his work, and the hope that maybe one day, he'd find a way to heal.